This is a true raw food for dudes dish and a raw food for chicks who just don't like to cook very much. We are going to give you a sort of a Sloppy Joe, a Sloppy Joe-like item. Of course, it has no meat, it's totally vegan, it's totally raw, and it's fabulously delicious. And we're gonna get it done before we can even make it over to a barbecue place and wait in line at the drive-thru. So all we need is our handy food processor, and we're gonna throw all the ingredients in, and while we're making this, we want to be lightly toasting either an Ezekiel bread, or if you have raw flax crackers, then of course we can use those as well. I have raw flax crackers here. I also have an Ezekiel lightly toasting, and actually let me make sure that's lightly toasting. It's lightly toasting. Okay, so now by the time that's even close to warm, we're gonna have this completely done. So we are going to chop our carrots here. We have 2 carrots, just 2 regular size carrots, and I'm gonna leave the nips of those. They'll not look so perfect. So we've taken the butts off, we've taken the points off, and we are gonna throw those into the food processor. We have 1 clove of garlic. Now, if you want more garlic, go for it. But remember, raw garlic is much more pungent than garlic that has been sauteed or cooked or roasted or steamed. So go easy. You can always add more later. Did I just say that? I love garlic, but people come over to my house and go, ah, it's too much garlic. So I'm warning you. You have been warned. Start with 1 clove and add more if you want it. Okay, I also added 2 green onions. I added most of the white. I just cut the little roots off there. We're gonna set those aside, feed those to the chickens later. Now, we want a full stalk of celery. Now, this celery is delicious. The smell of it is just overwhelmingly. You can smell the crispness right in it. It tastes delicious. It's also a little bit on the small side, so I'm gonna go ahead and do 1.5. Just to make sure I have plenty of that crisp celery flavor. I'm just gonna cut off the very end there and just the tips. The leaves are fine. They're gonna actually add a little more roughage in there. And we're just gonna chop this up. The only reason I'm chopping it up is because I want us to get a nice fine nut pate real quickly. So we're gonna get this ready to go here. Now, I have 1 cup of almonds and, sorry, half a cup of almonds and half a cup of walnuts. And I've left those soak overnight, so they need to soak about 8 hours at least. And then we're just gonna pour the soak water off. Pour it off. We're gonna give them a nice rinse so we know there's none of those enzyme inhibitors left on the nuts. Shake those off real good. Okay, and once we have those shaken off, we're gonna add them in there. Now you can see always when you soak the nuts that there's a little bit of kind of nasty water left, and that's just the nut getting rid of everything that it needs to in order for it to enliven itself and be fresh and tasty. And we want these nuts soaked and enlivened, so we're getting a nice live dish. There is a difference between live food and raw food. You can eat raw nuts that have not been enlivened by soaking, but of course we want them nice and alive, so we soaked them overnight. Now, of course, what gives this dish its unbelievable flavor is not fresh cracked pepper. I'm just gonna add a little bit of that while I'm talking to you, is barbecue sauce. Now, there are definitely raw versions of barbecue sauce you can find online, but again, this is a lazy man's version of a raw Sloppy Joe. As a matter of fact, I named it after myself. It's a SloppyJoy. So I want you to find a barbecue sauce that you like that does not have anything nasty in it. That means you need to look at the ingredients, okay? If you don't have a brand that you like, Trader Joe's is a trustworthy source of sauces that do not have any high fructose corn syrup. They're not gonna have your monosodium glutamates. They're not gonna have a lot of junk in them that is really bad for your body. So if you don't have a brand that you like, my top suggestion for you is this all-natural Trader Joe's barbecue sauce. Rocks, it's so good. Now, you want to add barbecue sauce to taste. Now, my husband will pretty much love me if I make anything with barbecue sauce in it, so I'm going to add a fair amount of barbecue sauce there, and I'm going to pulse first until I have a uniform consistency. Scrape it down 1 time. Actually, probably could use something other than my knife. Okay, it's getting relatively uniform. I'm going to turn it on while I check my toast. Nice. I'm going to scrape it down 1 more time. Okay. That is looking and smelling delicious. We're going to get an avocado ready here. Now, you can eat this delicious barbecue pate Well, you could eat it with a spoon actually, but I like to serve it on either flax cracker or a lightly toasted Ezekiel bread. I serve it with some avocado and some fresh lettuce as the top piece of bread instead of sandwich. And another great way to serve it would be to use one of the raw pizza crusts and top it with maybe a little bit extra barbecue sauce. Put your pate across it, spread little thin sliced purple or red onion rings, and top it with a little bit of fresh cilantro, and that is a fabulous way to eat it as well. So we are going to take some of the mixture out of here. We're going to serve it up on the toast, and we're going to put some avocado on here and give it a try. All right, here we go. Now, of course, if you're the type who likes mustard on here, your Sloppy Joes, you could go ahead and add that. I'm going to do one here. If you're not doing your own flax crackers, you're probably using a lightly toasted Ezekiel. This is actually a little toasted a little more than I would have liked, but that's all right. And this, delicious. And we're also going to pop some avocado right out of the skin. There we go. Oh yeah. You can't go wrong right there. Avocado. Okay, there we go. All right, now here's the trick. We can, of course, set this aside in the refrigerator and we'll have this quick to go, ready to have a snack anytime that we want. Love having this on hand. It makes quick snacks, quick meals really, really easy. But let me just show you a quick trick. When you go to eat this, if you don't want it crumbling all over the place, whether you're using the Ezekiel toast or whether you're using a flax cracker, you know, raw food sandwiches can be a little more messy. So you want to get in the habit of taking a lettuce leaf and lining the crisp end up at the top where you're going to first take a bite and just line it right up there and then wrap the rest of it around the outside. Look at that, just like a little pita hot pocket or something gross and disgusting and processed. It's just that handy, but it's delicious, it's fresh, it's raw, it's alive, and it's oh so good for you. So let me take a bite and I'll show you it's not even going to be that messy. Are you kidding me? That is good stuff. I think even a cowboy would say yeehaw to this, and it's raw living food, oh so good for you. Thank you for trying it out. Here's the Sloppy Joy.